Hi, my name is Jason Huval. I'm the broker and owner of Central Metro Realty, and today we're going to talk about short sales. The reason I'm bringing up short sales now is we've seen just a couple of them start to come in. I haven't seen these for many years, and so I just kind of wanted to get ahead of this for my agents to be able to explain kind of how they work, what they are, and why to use this form. This is important that you use this on every single one. So just real quick, a short sale simply is when a seller is selling a home and the lien holder accepts an amount less than what they're owed and they release the lien on the property. So let's say, for example, the seller's selling the house, they owe $100,000 and but the contract is going to require the lien holder to accept $95,000. So we'll need to get approval for that because the lender is selling the home short of what's owed to them. They're going to release their lien and accept short of what's owed to them. That's a short sale. So in a nutshell, that's it. But the points that I want to make on this form, I'm not going to read all this to you, and I'm going to try to keep this as brief as I can, guys. But the two things that I want to really talk about here are, one, setting expectations for a short sale. And this is largely, most of what I'm talking about here is on the buy side, right? The sell side of this is a whole nother animal. But this form specifically, if you're a buyer, you need the two things. One, set expectations for your buyer. Just because you can, put a property under contract for a lesser dollar amount, they think they're getting an amazing deal, does not mean you're going to get it. So you have a short sale, you put in an offer, and let's say it was $100,000. They think the house is worth $100,000, which you guys, all think, but you've got it under contract for $80,000, and you're super excited. Your buyer's excited. The lender has to approve that. Just because the seller signed it there's no obligation that they have to sell it to you for $80,000. The lender is really the one that's approving this contract. And so that's what you're waiting on. And that takes time and it doesn't always work out. And the lender may come back and say, we're not going to take $80,000. We're going to take $95,000, right? And so, so you can get out of your original contract, but if you still want to buy this home, you're going to have to pay $95,000 for it. And so setting those expectations, that's so important on the buy side to make sure that you're letting your buyer know, hey guys, this might not work out. The second thing I want to talk about is option money, right? And so if you have an option, which every contract on the buy side should, right? You have that, your unrestricted right to terminate. You're going to want to, always as a buyer, I want to pay as little as possible, but especially in this deal, right? It's still, as soon as you pay that option money, it belongs to the seller. And then now you don't even have a deal. Let's say it just falls apart, the lender doesn't approve it, they're out that option money, right? And so it's really important that you don't allow, I'm really, really, really particular in negotiations on short sales, specifically because the seller keeps that cash on a deal that may or may not even happen, that is out of our control, right? So be very mindful of that. The second thing that I want to point out about the specifically on option period is that, once you pay that option period, you can cancel for any reason all the way through approval of this deal. And so what has to happen here is that the lien holder has approved this deal. And so this is really the only section I'm going to talk about filling out. The only thing you really have to fill out on this contract, I think, other than you have the property address and the buyer and seller, is this right here. So this section D, if seller does not notify buyer and seller that seller has obtained lien holder's consent and agreement on or before this date, whatever you choose here, this contract terminates and the earnest money will be refunded to buyer. Seller must notify buyer immediately if lien holder's consent and agreement is obtained. For purposes of performance, the effective date of the contract changes to the date seller provides buyer notice of lien holder's consent and agreement, the amended effective date, right? So if you have an option money, you put up money for your option, unrestricted right to cancel, right? It's going to move, right? So you had an effective date of the contract. Well, now the new effective date is whenever they provided this information to you, or this approval to you. And so whatever date you had, let's say you had a 7-day option, that 7-day option starts on this amended effective date. So I don't do any of my inspections until I know that I've got a contract. I wouldn't waste money with any inspections, any of your other due diligence that's going to be costly until I know I have a contract. Again, setting expectations for your buyers. And so those are the big points that I wanted to hit. Agents are going to ask, what date, how long should I put in here? Like this date right here is basically how long your buyer is willing to hang around, right, to see. And you're tying up the property, right? So they can't sell it to anybody else. They're obligated to you. You have it under contract. In the heydays, the really bad days, 08, 09, even 2010, 11, we had a lot of short sales that happened in those times. The lenders were slammed. It could take, 2 months. I'm not trying to scare you guys off, but it could take a long time at that time. Right now, short sales are not nearly as common. I've only seen a couple of them at our firm here come through. That's kind of the reason for this video. But I would expect 2 to 6 weeks, somewhere in there. Again, but it's just a guess. I don't know what the current climate is for these and how bad it'll get. If you're watching this video and they're happening all the time, I'm sure it's going to take even longer, because the lenders are going to have to staff up their, short sale departments to get approvals and all that stuff. So those are the bigs that I wanted to talk about. If you're going to do a short sale, use this addendum. It protects your buyer, right? And even here, Section E, again, I don't want to read the whole thing, but contract will terminate and the earnest money will be refunded to the buyer if the lien holder refuses or withdraws its consent and agreement prior to closing and funding. Seller shall promptly notify buyer of any lien holder's refusal to provide or withdrawal of lien holder's consent agreement. That was rare back in the day, that a lien holder would change their mind. In fact, I don't remember it happening ever to me, but they can. And so just something to be aware of as well. So anyways, that's it in a nutshell, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this helps. As always, hopefully I covered all the key things. And like I said, the most important things to me, set expectations and watch out for that option fee being too big. I mean, this takes a minute to do this process. A good listing agent will push them through and they'll have them approved. But like I said, typically, like buyers or sellers can get in a pinch where they can't pay their mortgage anymore. They need to sell this house quickly and at a loss. And that's where a lot of these short sales were coming up. I guess 15 or so, however long that was, 17 years ago. But anyways, as always, thanks for watching. My marketing guy would say, please like, and he'd be mad at me if I didn't say, please don't, please like and subscribe for us. Again, Jason Huval, broker owner of Central Metro Realty. Thanks so much, guys. Good luck out there.